Hey everybody, what's up? We are a little late because, life. So we're gonna be covering two of these in one day. And yeah. I don't know if you're gonna get synopsis on this, Mike, but you got a synopsis?
Well, this one's actually kind of simple because for the first episode, it's literally just Jennifer Walters' origin story, and specifically how she became the She-Hulk. Now, in the show, it's different from her origin in the comics. This one ties a little bit closer to the MCU continuity in that Bruce and Jen get into a car crash because of a Sicarian spaceship, which I'm sure they will address later.
I hope so, because that's starting to scream some Planet Hulk right there.
Yes, it does. So anyway, some of Bruce's blood gets into Jennifer's bloodstream, and she gets the gamma radiation, and then the rest is history from there.
All right. So I hate having to be that person every single time we do one of these videos, but every single time we start a new Marvel series or movie, there's inevitably a torrent of people bitching, just bitching about inaccuracy, about the stupidity, about how it's blown out of proportion and it's nothing like the comic books, therefore they should be thrown in the trash. Okay, so I know very little about She-Hulk except for a myriad of romantic partners, the fact that she regularly fourth wall breaks, and that she got her Hulk blood from a blood transplant with Bruce. How picky are you bastards? She basically got the same thing without the doctor visit.
Yeah.
It was the Chuck Norris of blood transfusion. She just got it dripped clean in. What's the difference?
Exactly.
Y'all need to shut up. For the love of God, you're just looking for things to bitch about now. But I do love that they're kind of treating it how a lot of people thought the Daredevil TV show was going to be at first.
Oh, like a superhero lawyer show.
A superhero lawyer show where it's like, all right, we've got the Law and Order, 10 minutes as the lawyer, 20 minutes as the Hulk type of thing. And that's kind of what we got here. And yeah, you're actually getting the superhero lawyer show, which you did get a little bit, you did get with Daredevil, but you're getting more of that in the sense of how people thought it was going to go here. And man, I'll tell you, I just think certain shots of CG don't look good because the CG for the She-Hulk is not bad.
No, it's actually fine. The problem is it's just harder to do CG that looks humanoid because
yes,
there's obviously going to be some uncanny valley-ness to it.
Yes. And it's like, there's just some shots that it's not even because they're done badly. It's just that, like you said, it's situational. It's the uncanny valley. Just some stuff. It looks weird to the human eye.
And this is why, going back to Ms. Marvel for a second, why I'm okay with how they changed their powers, because just fundamentally, stretchy powers don't look good in live action.
No, they don't. And if you're going to try and make it work with one person, how are you going to, if you were going to give them to Kamala, literally, what are you doing with Reed Richards?
Exactly.
He has literally nothing else. Kamala has a lot, and now she has all of it. It just doesn't look like her arm is stretching.
But getting back into She-Hulk, one thing I really like about this episode, especially after the second time that I've seen it, is this episode, it does focus more on the origin, but that's because they want to spend the rest of the series doing the actual superhero lawyer show. Mm-hmm. But what I like about this episode is it really makes it clear that Bruce and Jen are not the same. They're not the same person.
Yeah, and that kind of that was the one thing that I wanted from the first episode. That had to be their mission statement. Why are we even doing She-Hulk if they're going to be the exact same person? And they're not. And, oh man, I want to say it was Gwen that posted this on Twitter. But a giant difference with She-Hulk and Bruce Banner, and they explained it right away. She doesn't have an alter ego. She's just Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce borderline has bipolar disorder or like split personality disorder, or he does have split personality disorder where just one personality is literally all of his repressed rage made into an actual personality. Therefore, he had to deal with it. Jen is just a victim of circumstance. She just happens to have been turned into the Hulk when she did not have anger issues. And I heard people talking about the talk that Jen gives about how on a daily basis, she is pissed. She just needs and has gotten better at controlling it. And it kind of goes back to why, like, you get the Hulk moment in the original Avengers. Jen is literally pissed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She's just better at dealing with it than Bruce is in certain situations. And the fact that she could just like clean in and out in a moment's notice out of She-Hulk makes her less dangerous and more dangerous than Bruce was.
Yep.
It's an interesting dichotomy because, like, with Bruce, at all times, he's like, I don't want to go to that spot because I don't know when I'm going to come back. But there's certain spots where I need to do it, and I just have to deal with the consequences. Jen's like, I'm going to turn to the Hulk, and I'm going to break you in half, and then I'm going to turn back into Jen, and then I'm just going to go walk out and have some dinner. That's terrifying.
Yep.
There's such a dichotomy between those two that they could get away with different situations. And they tried so hard to explain the cockamamie bullshit of why you had to have Bruce back as Bruce for two minutes. And they really didn't. Like, at the end of Shang-Chi, he's just Bruce again. They show, and they talk about it here where he's like, yeah, I spent the entire blip, 5 years going, yeah, I got the best of both worlds now. I don't need to be Bruce anymore. And because I'm Bruce and the Hulk. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, by the way, I made this prototype because I wanted to be short again. And then I broke it. Like, we're all like, what was the point of him showing up at the end of Shang-Chi as a human?
Probably just to save money.
To save money. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, wait. You need to Hulk train She-Hulk. Bye. You're not doing that anymore. And yeah, it's very interesting showing the difference between the two of them and like actually showing some of the stuff that he went through during the blip, that he has like as a little personal hideout where he wanted to get away from humanity.
And that Tony Stark was like helping him through this. That I feel like we're gonna get a lot more of the reaction to the blip in the series.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be totally spacing out. Is this like the first time we had a genuine conversation about Tony Stark outside of the Spider-Man movie?
I think so.
Because that kind of caught me off guard. because they haven't been talking about Tony at all.
Well, to be fair, not everyone or everyone that we've seen in Phase 4 has had like an intimate relationship with Tony.
Well, I get that. I'm talking about not even like in the news, like outside, like maybe a picture on a portrait somewhere. Like they'll randomly go, yeah, that guy who wields the hammer or Captain America, he's like the one where they've gone out of their way to barely talk about him.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Like,
like I don't even know if Thor mentioned him in his recap of like who helped him throughout his life.
Yeah, he's been noticeably absent in discussions,
which is perfectly fine. I'm good with that. Like if you want to talk about like treat him as like this mythical figure that barely ever gets brought up, because let's be honest, we don't have the MCU if Iron Man doesn't work. And yeah, it was just, if we're gonna have someone have some PTSD about Tony being gone, I could be very okay with that being a major thing that Bruce has to deal with.
And speaking of Bruce, we know that they are slowly introducing some Planet Hulk stuff, from the Sicarian spaceship to the fight that he gets in with Jen. You see him getting like angry.
You do. Now I have to ask: is all that stupid bullshit still tied up at Universal?
I actually don't know entirely. I think by now, the rights are kind of untied.
For those of you that don't know, and what me and it is the stupidest thing. They don't even own the rights to the character name. They own the or I don't know where it sits. They owned the distribution rights. So basically, a giant chunk of any money Marvel wanted to make had to be paid to Universal. It's a big issue why you only got one Hulk film.
And why you've only seen the Hulk as like a supporting player
in things not called the Hulk, because they don't gotta pay jack to Universal unless it's called the Hulk. It's really dumb. Like who had Namor for the longest time?
I think that was also Universal.
Was it also Universal? It did nothing.
So the fact that he's showing up in Wakanda Forever is significant.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Hulk should be one of the next ones that retires. What are you going to retire him on?
This would be the perfect place to kind of pass the torch.
If you can build up to a World War Hulk movie, you believe that? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that's the one tie you got left.
Just saying, Disney D23 is in 2 weeks.
It is. We might get some stuff announced. I don't know, but you can tell that they were saving some things. But yeah, so I do like the whole Hulk training session was just fantastic.
Oh yeah, I loved all of it.
From some of it working to Bruce being like, okay, that's completely new. Like it's a slight multi-year journey. How many is multi-year? Well, like 15.
and 15 years ago is roughly when the Incredible Hulk came out.
I can't process that.
I know, right?
This series has been going half my life.
Something else I kind of want to address. There's some very subtle mutant references. Not anything explicit, but just the fact that when Bruce tells Jen, like, once you're viewed as a monster, like that's not That's something that doesn't go away.
Well, there is that, and it's also the fact that he had to be on the run for his entire life.
True.
Yeah, but we'll get. No, don't worry. I got a poster pop up on my Facebook feed for that gets shown in episode 2. So mutant mentions are going to be there.
Oh,
Man in bar fight with metal claws.
oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that in the next recording session. But yeah, like it's the last session, freaking Kamala's a mutant. So they ain't getting away from that. Like we said, D23 coming up real quick. Oh boy. But yeah, all that, the fact that they got in an actual honest to God fight was pretty great too. Like them showing, like he said, to work towards all this, like her multi-Hulk clapping. My favorite one, and I didn't realize it. When they're doing the boulder throwing, like I realized that he launched the other one, and someone's like, "No, he just killed someone, did whatever." I'm like, "No, that thing left the atmosphere.
It did.
That had
It had to have.
atmospheric. That had outer entry atmospheric flames going out of it. He didn't kill someone. He just made it a meteor." It's ridiculous. And
Also, before we get too far away from it, Dennis can suck it.
Dennis gets sucked. Oh yeah, that guy's not great. I have a feeling he's going to be a thorn in the side for a while. But you know, you got to have that one guy who's just a dick, and this is going to be the guy that Jen has to deal with. One thing I loved for the quick second that we got it, everything that I've heard from my sisters to cosplayers that I've talked to, there is not a either worse or more supportive situation than a woman's locker room.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we kind of got that. Like, girl, I don't know, he, she, or whoever this was, you do not deserve this. If they're pampering her up, giving her clothes, like, I just need a phone.
And they all take out their phone.
Exactly. Oh, it's fantastic. The subtle leads into not knowing how in control she was going to be right away of her Hulk side was really good. I love that it kind of seems like she's a fangirl in a way because she's asking so much about Steve Rogers, unless she just has a crush on Steve Rogers, which means
it's Chris Evans. Who can blame her?
It's Chris Evans, so I mean, I can't really blame her. But now I understand why Peter Quill needs to have a discussion with Steve if he was still alive. Those of you that don't know, we'll get that at the end because technically that's the end credit scene, which I hear every episode's gonna have. We get back and correct me if I'm wrong. I was kind of shocked when it didn't happen. Isn't Titania kind of like the Marvel Giganta? Or am I wrong?
I will confirm that in a second. Keep talking.
Okay, so we get the discussions between them. They start talking. They finally get over all their differences, and then Jen leaves. We get back to the courthouse. And like you get back to the sea, we got through all that on the Hulk already, but we're good, and I never have to do that. See, we can have the lawyer show now. And they get back into the courtroom, and like it was something with like destruction of property or unintentional death, I believe is what they were talking about. But with like some commercial property or something, they were very vague about what the guy was doing, and they didn't show like a super obvious you're going to know who this guy is when they're in the chair. And we get Jen getting ready to give her closing statement, and then Titania blows in
like the Kool-Aid man,
pretty much, and then is just ready to wreck house, and we don't know why. But destruction of property and like stuff they were talking about, she would make a lot of sense if she was in cahoots with the dude that's going to get charged.
I'm sure we'll find out more in the second episode. I'm really jealous of critics who got to see the first 4.
Yeah. Like, I did not expect that I was going to love this, and I'm not saying that I do, but it's like, this was just well written and well paced. Like, I legit, outside of like the things that just look weird in the Uncanny Valley, which you can't fight because the CG people did do a good job, I have no complaints really. It was just good. It didn't blow me away, but it was just good.
I wouldn't call this my favorite first episode. I feel like this one in particular would have worked better if, say, on the first day we get like the first 2 episodes, but just like,
yeah, like they would have got us 2 in a row so you can see the after effect.
Yeah. But like it's solid. It's well written. This is written by Jessica Gao, who wrote the Rick and Morty episode Pickle Rick, which is one of the best episodes of the series.
There you go.
And is kind of another commentary on therapy, which Bruce clearly needs but has avoided.
Because he said, again, at a point where he's like, I can buy my personalities. Everything's fine. I don't have any more repressed anger. I got my plan now. I'm like, no, dude, you got some stuff going on. Yikes. So what do you got anything cooking over there?
Okay, so Titania, her thanks to cellular augmentations to radiation, Titania possesses immense strength that originally enabled her to match individuals such as the Thing, but later increased after performing rigorous, prolonged weightlift training, and rivals her nemesis, She-Hulk.
Okay, so Titania, not Titana. I thought it was like a growth thing. Titania, so she's going to have... Okay.
Yeah.
Even saying the name differently makes more sense now. Super strong. Got it. Not size. Okay.
But yeah, and she's like one of She-Hulk's, like, you know, arch rivals.
That makes sense.
So clearly this isn't the last time you'll see her.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I have a feeling that she's going to be a regular thorn in the side. But yeah. So we have her show up. She gets KO'd pretty easily for now, anyway. And it just weirdly is kind of like it's just done. It felt like a very one of 2 parters. Like you said, it would have been really great if you would have got the first 2, especially when this is a 9-episode one.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't afraid to give 2 episodes out for some of the ones that were 6 episodes.
Yeah,
that was weird.
When WandaVision premiered, I can't remember if it was just the first 2 or no, it was just the first 2.
And wasn't Hawkeye the first 2?
I think so.
I think that might have been a timing thing also. Sometimes they give away 2 if it's going to coincide with something. Every now and then, but
yeah, this will I'll reassess my thoughts once we get to the second episode, but for now I still kind of stand by this would have worked better if we got them both together, but
yeah, I think I can agree with that. We get the end credits scene. So we either got, you find out that who Rogers lost his virginity to, because we needed to know that. So it's either, for those of you that don't know, the one girl that he's caught macking on is no, that was Natalie Dormer. And then another one that he... Okay, there was the 2 blondes. It's the girl that played Star-Lord's mom and then Natalie Dormer. Is Natalie Dormer the one that he gets caught making out with by Haley Atwell?
I think it was Star-Lord's mom.
Star-Lord's mom. So everyone and their mother is like, yeah, his dad might have been a god, but I'm pretty sure it's Krampus. Because same actors, for those of you that don't know. And then Natalie Dormer, who I wish would have been Captain Marvel. Nothing against Brie Larson, but just she was my dream pick. And I hope that she gets picked up for something else because she is fantastic. But yeah, was really good.
Yeah, looking forward to episode 2.
So am I, which we're going to start watching in like a couple minutes. All right, everybody. So that is it for us for this one. Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at CaptainK42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser, and the Banana Meter. Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero. I took another kind of streaming break because there's been construction and crap going around my house, and it was causing a big old racket. So that would have made streaming bordering on impossible. So you're wondering why I was off my Twitch for a while? That was why, because it would have been utterable garbage trying to listen to. So yeah, I will be back streaming, I'm going to say tomorrow, which would be Friday. If you're watching this, it'll be today. Streaming The Last of Us because I want to stream the original version before the remake comes out next week. So yeah, you find us doing that. I have a podcast now, like an actual on-channel podcast. I'm pretty excited about. That's going to continue to be monthly for the time being. But I'm going to be honest, the amount of fun I have actually doing it within a couple of months, I wouldn't mind taking that thing to bi-weekly.
I'd be down for that.
Okay, all right then. That's a vote of confidence. All right, yeah. But that's a ton of fun. The next one, we're going to have a bigger spattering of topics. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be mostly a lot of dunking on HBO. HBO, Discovery. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a little less positive than the last one. But, every now and then people need to be told about their dumb decisions. Oh, Zaslav. All right. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.